Also, I was playing like blindfold chess as a training. And I'm 100% sure if I would be 6, 7, 8 years old now, I would also play, but probably I wouldn't play with someone physically. Of course, if my sister would be there, I would be playing, but I would for sure be playing with some friends or some people online. And also what gives an interesting opportunity for youngsters to test some of your some
openings, for instance,
openings, because we were doing
the reflex to see if you have the reflex in.
Yeah, and I know that even Magnus Carlsen, the world champion, he's well, maybe I cannot say it for too long, but he's the world champion. But he also goes online and tests some of his ideas, whether it works, whether he has the feeling for it, or getting into the spirit of that kind of new opening, to feel the middle game, to feel the end game, to feel the structure, to feel the ins and outs, right? And I'm pretty sure that many of the players, youngsters and even not the very young generation anymore, they go there and test. So if you're very deliberately know what you're doing in online games, I think it can be beneficial.
No, of course I agree, but if you play 5 hours a day, then it's too much.
No, that's...
I see, at least each of us is built in a different way. But no, by the way, I believe that Fischer was somehow against Blitz. But then what happens in 1970 during the USSR versus rest of the world match? They organized the first World Blitz Championship. And Fischer won with 3 or 4 points more than the second, the runner-up. So he was against it. He said it, but when they organized it, he played it and he won it quite convincingly. So, well, of course, it was 5+0. There was no digital.
There was no official clock yet, right? The first Fischer clock was implemented and used in the rematch in Stefan between Boris Spassky and Fischer. And after that, the next event was my match against Boris Spassky, where we played. It was still very heavy, black clock with yellow top of it, where we could push the clock. We have one sample. My father is a collector, and so that was the second event. And look now, by now, for a decade or two, or nearly 20 years, I think, we play with digital clocks, and how natural it is that now the players are receiving, after every move, 30 seconds.
But at the same time, in top level tournaments, like for instance, the candidates, they also want to move back to the thrill of the moments where there was no increment. And they have increment only after the second control.
Yeah, but it's strange, you know. For me, it's very strange that, we have that in the World Championship, right? After 61.
In the candidates too. And some top tournaments. Also.
For me, it's very strange, though, that after a certain number of moves, you have a different settings.
Yeah, but okay, they want to make it real. I mean, to have a real-time until move 60.
Yeah.
And then once you get only that quarter of an hour or half an hour, you cannot live forever out of that. So then you need the increment.
Yeah, and of course it's always a question how to balance it, the time, how much time is enough for that, what all this was developed for. So the idea is to get an additional time after every move. Is not that you want to be very generous, but that when you end up in a position where it's splitting out, so if you have a very winning position, you're not going to be flagged or you're not going to be such a big mistake just because you have only seconds on your clock. So that's the original idea of
Yes.
only for the last part of the game.
Yes, yes.
Not to be flagged.
Yes, to defend drawn ending or win,
Yes.
have the time to win. But by the way, about this increment,
I think we have a game finished where Mozchuk, I'm pretty sure she won. Let's see what happened in the result.
she won, yes.
And she did win the game, which was not a surprise because where we stopped before,
She had a queen for a rook and a bishop and two advancing pawns in the final position. So
well, we can just bring it up the final position. So
you will recognize the structure. We saw that black didn't manage.
well, basically, this is where we had seen last time, and it was clear that we agreed that knight b6 will be the move
Okay.
going towards to the king.
You win.
And after knight d7, she went queen e6, and after h4, black lost material because the bishop
Oi.
and the queen cannot
That
be
is bad.
connected anymore, so she had to play queen f6, and after that only a matter of technique by Anna, which was not the biggest challenge of her life, but whenever you have your winning position, first round, you're a much better player than your opponent, you still have to collect the point. And as we were discussing, 2.5 points is enough for every team to win their match. At the same time, even in the round one, you have to make sure that you collect as many points as possible, because there can be 1, 2, 3 teams even to have the same number of match points. And when it comes to that, then already the secondary calculation will be very important, how many games you've won on the board. And anyway, it's not only that, but also that you want to build up your self-confidence, that when you are better, You're playing with the white pieces. You want to collect the point in the first few rounds. I mean, that's how the top players have their mindset that, okay, it's you have to do it. It's part of the job that in the first round you play much lower opponents, but that's how you kind of warm up, and then by round 3, 4, for sure we are going to have already matchups, which is absolutely going to be a different caliber of quality of the games also, because there is not going to be such a big differences between the one player or another from the countries. Let's go back for a second for Shirov, and then we can move to some other games, because I just
wanted to say about Shirov that for him
there doesn't seem to be this notion of first round, relaxed round, warming. No, he goes for it.
Yes.
Now we have our position, yes, after Bishop.
Yeah, this is what we were looking, and we said that after Bishop A5, White is doing extremely well, because, we can see that the black
advance in development, yes.
is still in the center. Development is very much behind for black, so he will have to give up the rook. There is no way of escape, and maybe that's even the better version. But I think he definitely has to eliminate the d5
yes.
knight.
Because, maybe some other press will think, okay, it's the first round, it's less strong opponent, why would I
Sacrifice anything. I will beat him anyway.
but not Shirov. This is his chess.
Well, when you play g4 in move 4-5, you're not hiding that you want to be positional or tactical.
Yeah, but you understand that Shirov would have probably won the game even if he had played, I don't know, g3 or bishop c4 or just something neutral. But no, he remains true to himself. There is no such thing as an easy game. No, he goes for it. I mean, he takes risks. He knows some theory, but it's a pawn down, now it's a piece down.
And still, this is the chess he plays.
Yeah, this is, I think, important, and it's also interesting that Shirov is playing in round 1, because it happens with many of the top teams. I know that when I was playing in my team, it was a debate. For example, Leiko did not like to play in round 1 because he thought, well, okay, it doesn't give me extra energy, it doesn't give me any entertainment, pleasure, whatever, so let the others play. And even sometimes he didn't play in the first 1, 2, even the first 2 rounds. For me, it was something that I was always happy to play, and I don't think ever any Olympiad I skipped the first round, because somehow I knew
you win the game,
yeah,
it's
there
good.
are
It's a positive feeling.
people the atmosphere. I want to feel the whole vibe of the Olympiad. I even say hello to people here and there in the first round, so it's not the most difficult game I'm going to be playing. And still, somehow, I was happy to collect the point. Of course, I knew that I have to collect the point, especially in the days when it was a board point which counted.
Yes.
But for me, it was something very natural that I was playing, and usually I was playing many of the games, but I know that many players like Magnus, obviously he says, okay, I don't want to play in the first round, maybe even the 2 rounds, I don't know. But many of the top players, I think they say, okay, I don't play, I just play when it's really tough. The big guys are coming, the crucial game is coming, right?
But you know, I remember on Olympiad in Istanbul, I was following Danilo, was the captain of
The Bulgarian team, okay, with Topalov and Kirill Georgiev,
Elchev also, okay, quite a strong team. And I noticed we had 14 rounds then. And it's a long tournament. You cannot, I mean, I played 3 times, I played 13 rounds, but it's a lot.
and I noticed that he didn't use Topalov and Kirill Georgiev in the first 4 rounds.
He wanted them
For the last 10 rounds.
and you know, it seemed to work perfectly. The Bulgarian team now got a more advanced
Position, they seem to be very close to a great result.
But you can never calculate this. Then they lost to Finland, I believe. They lost quite badly in round last but one,
Penultimate or something. You can never calculate these things. You can never know. I mean,
they were on the way to a great result. Maybe medal, maybe. I don't remember exactly, but there was this, yes, I think it was against Finland. A team which was supposedly inferior to them, and they lost. So
you'd never know. Ivanchuk, for
course.
instance, plays all the games if allowed. He always plays the 14 games.
you never know how it is best to spend your energy
In the beginning, or to light up your inspiration
and your shape by playing many games.
Well, it's different for every player.
Yes.
95 is played in the meantime, so now Alexei is thinking. I don't think he's going to be thinking long. I think he's going to take back bishop takes d5.
It looks, yeah, most natural. No, ED5 should also offer.
Bishop d8 is not something we want to consider, right? I mean, after that, black can go knight f4.
That's an improvement of the position already, no?
Yeah, I think black is alive now.
Well, maybe bishop b5 now. After knight f4.
But bishop c6
And queen c4, yeah. No, this line concretely, but I don't think that bishop takes d8 is... bishop c5.
Bishop c5, rook g7.
It's quite a funny position, by the way, we reached.
But it's, yeah, indeed.
Somehow the pieces are moving...
No, but it's not clear now, suddenly, what is really going on here.
Yeah, it's true. No, suddenly Black's position looks so beautiful. I mean,
It's the best position he had in this game.
yes.
With little exaggeration. So bishop d8, knight f4.
Yeah,
So
but
it's a big question.
I don't think that bishop takes d8 is such an emergency, let's call it.
Yeah, so the question is how Alexei will be reacting on knight d5. We were looking bishop d5.
Yeah, maybe bishop d8 you can consider, but okay, why? Because after bishop d5, knight b6. This would be the only reason, no?
So what about bishop d5?
Takes a knight b6, you said, yes? Rook takes.
Rook takes. Yeah, this is what we look, knight b6, bishop, queen b5.
Queen b5, yeah.
So this was problematic for black.
No, of course, Shirov knows that he has to foresee the concrete things. So probably he wants to know in advance what he will do.
Well, it's not going to be easy for black.
It's not that he doesn't know what to do, and this is why he's singing.
No,
he knows he has to choose.
Yes, exactly.
And it's better to choose earlier.
Yeah.
Than just right one move after the critical moment. So.
No, he wants to make sure that he makes the right choice between bishop d5 or bishop d8. Practically.
In my opinion, he doesn't consider bishop takes d8 as such a big candidate, but it's better to decide that now.
Yes, you want to make sure that you know what you're doing, you know why you're
did
doing
you play it, or is it?
No, I played it, and he went bishop takes d5.
I mean, you have to make sure if
you want to keep the initiative, right?
Yes,
you don't
yes.
want to give the opportunity for black to get
intuitively. I think he would have played bishop d5 at once.
instantly.
But
Clear.
you know that sometimes intuition can go wrong, and there is this critical moments when you have to choose a move order, and if you don't feel it, then it will be too late. I mean, you may offer chances and so on.
Yeah, but I don't think he will ruin this. I think
No.
bishop d5 is extremely difficult to handle.
He takes it very seriously somehow.
No, he knows that you have to work for your point, right?
Yes.
I mean, after all, he gave up material, so he has to control it. That
No,
he
and
knows
plus
why he gave.
take it another way. I mean, he got this first round, and he already got one of his fire on board positions.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, why would he want to win quickly? It's okay. No, I mean quickly by time, not by moves.
Yes.
Why not sit there and enjoy the feeling? Because after the game is over, okay, you'll give autographs, but it will not be the feeling of being in the game. So I also have this feeling. No, I mean, why to hurry? I mean, just let yourself.
Well, especially if you have time until.
Yes.
I Now actually we can see the time. He has only 19 minutes left.
And your
So
opponent
it's only move 21. So for me it's also unexpected suddenly that we are already heavily in the finishing the third hour of play, which means that, well, we started out with 90 minutes for the players, right? So
Bishop
they are
A6
spending.
is the answer.
Bishop A6. So this we were not considering.
I timidly considered it mentally, but I was ashamed to suggest it because the bishop had been on A6.
Yeah, but the
earlier.
situation is not so good, so he wants to go away from opening the D file, right? So this is kind of understandable. But the question is where the white queen should be going.
If queen H3, then
D1,
knight B6. Then knight
That's
B6.
the thing,
That's
that after queen H3, knight B6, and suddenly black offers an exchange of queens, which obviously white would not like to have.
queen F3 maybe, but okay. No, this already it went astray. Maybe queen H5.
Queen H5, knight D5, knight D5, queen E5 you want to go?
Or bishop takes D8
bishop
now.
D8.
No? Maybe now is a good moment for that.
I was thinking about knight F4. I know that you're going to grab knight E6. The only thing is I don't have enough pawns. That bothers me from the black
the
side.
material is about equal. Yeah, but black, the bishop, no, now F4 at once is possible, no?
Possible, but
F4.
queen C5, I think. Queen C5, queen D8. It's kind of, well, of course, this king on E8 is always keeping black.
And it's not a material advantage already. Actually, from material point of view,
yeah, 2 pawns and a rook for a bishop and a knight.
of course, your queen takes E5 maybe even simpler.
This
no?
is what we have on the board already. Queen H3, knight B6.
So maybe this he calculated when he was, it was not just enjoying the position, but this knight B6, this bishop A6
And actually they don't have so much time, because when you have your move, what move are we? Move 22, you have 18 minutes, black has 17. You're already getting, or at least when I was playing, I started to get a little nervous as well. I have to be watching my time. If I go down 1 or 2 moves, then you have to double think about it, whether you have time to go to the toilet if it's far away. So there are some practical issues around this also, but he went queen H5.
No, if knight E5, of course, your queen E5 is also possible.
Yeah, the thing is that we look the bishop D8 first, but I think
maybe your queen takes E5 is even stronger, no?
I don't know.
Queen is
Maybe queen E6.
Takes bishop D8, knight.
I don't know. I'm careful on entering into the end game.
No. This is already many squares for black, no?
Yeah.
Well,
this
there is also
is fantastic counter chance. Even maybe it's not bad.
No, because
it is so much counter chances that it's chances for both sides.
Yes.
I would say so. Black really have to be careful.
So maybe still bishop takes D8, no?
So knight D5. No, I'm wondering, isn't it possible just to take e takes
I was
d5?
also thinking, because it's not a committal move.
I just don't like that
Just
knight
keeping-
when it's jumping around.
Yeah, just keeping the position as it is, and okay.
It's
In fact,
hanging on
rook
d8,
D7, no?
hanging on e5.
Rook D7 maybe, no?
Wow.
Oh, okay, I don't know, do we have...
I don't know.
I agree with you.
Rook e7?
Yeah, Queen D4, no?
Yeah, I mean, okay, white has 2 pawns only, but look, I mean, look at this.
D6 is coming, then Rook Q1, it should be winning.
No, I mean,
No, maybe
this
your
is-
E takes D5 is the best. I mean, why hurry?
Why hurry? Yeah.
We have all the good things there.
But basically, right now, there is no other move than taking on d5, right? If queen c7,
Bishop
then
F7, no?
bishop f7
Yeah.
is going to be the move. And
Rook
then
D8.
check, king e7.
What a pity that we didn't play Bishop takes B6 earlier, so to have Queen D6.
Yeah, but we are not, we cannot,
Okay.
it's not fair to complain from white point
I
of view.
was
I
just
think.
speculating, no?
I think if white is complaining in this position, there is something wrong with the judgment.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see after queen h5 how black would like to still hang on for a few moves.
Yeah, Bishop
Because-
D6. No, knight D5 and Bishop D6, no? But Rook
Well, knight
D7,
d5 takes, bishop d6, then
Rook
rook g7.
or take on maybe take on D8 first, because Rook
Because
D7,
rook g7, rook
D7,
d7, yeah.
and finally, I don't know.
Okay, finally black maybe is still alive. So after
Oh.
bishop d6, but then maybe this is not bad,
Yeah,
not so bad.
yeah,
takes, and after rook g7,
Queen
queen
f6.
f6.
Oh, but it's not that clear either, no? Rook G1 you have to go. Rook D1, no?
Yeah, but I wouldn't be happy with white if this is the position I have to end up.
I would have hoped for more, no?
Yeah, I don't like this bishop pair from this side.
Yeah, you would have hoped for more. So now we understand why
So bishop
Alexei was...
d6.
Maybe still Rook G7, no?
Well, rook g7, rook d7. Actually, let's see what we have on the board. Rook d7 was played.
Once.
Rook d7.
Also interesting.
Well,
But takes on E5, I guess, no? And if Rook E7, Queen... Of course, now the d-pawn is not running. There is no d-pawn.
well, let's say queen e5, okay? Or bishop b6 is also possible. I don't know if that makes any sense
Yes, but you know...
to capture.
No, but we are not afraid of knight takes d5, because then ED, this is the thing we will be missing.
No, the only thing is that maybe somehow with the defense, for example,
Queen d4, and now
Well,
we also have the threat.
this is...
We also have the threat bishop b4, so maybe it's not a bad idea to keep the bishop.
Queen d4.
I like that bishop somehow. It's if knight d5 ed, we got this position and we're happy.
So what happens if just black goes back to d7? Right.
This is possible. Rook g7.
Well,
really-
yeah, this is always a question whether white can also sacrifice extra material, takes
Rook
and
f8,
rook
bishop
f8.
b4, no?
Yeah, Bishop b4. So this is the reason why I wanted to leave here, Bishop.
I thought that, no, actually I was thinking that after rook e7 I was settling bishop b4 at once.
Yeah.
And now rook e7 is forced, no? I think. But it's a bit pinned for black, no? It's...
No, now it's over. Right?
Rook e7, then maybe we have bishop c6. And, or maybe it's... no, we sacrifice too much.
No,
sorry.
Here it just takes and queen e5 check.
Yeah, okay, the simple
Now
way.
it's just...
the simple way, yes.
It's just completely over. So after rook d7... But okay, I understand why Alexei is thinking. He has 16 minutes. He understands that he just has to find few more good moves.
Yes.
That's all.
Yes.
That's all.
I know that he's a very principled player.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If he believes in something, he does it.
And
like that.
And he's sincerely unhappy when he wins a game. If there was only one moment when he gave chances to the opponent, I remember he won a very good game against Harika. It was in the Isle of Man. And the game looked just like this, that it was really a strategy lesson in the French opening. He was white. And then he came to me and he complained that and then I looked, I checked the game at home, and I understood that when he gave the chance, she could have got some counterplay with a far from obvious move, which would have led to a draw. But he saw it during the game, not with the computer, and he was disappointed. Yeah, the queen going somewhere, and somehow the white king would be not that. Okay, the game didn't want that way. It returned into the normal path. So no, he doesn't take chess lightly.
No, of course, he's an extremely passionate player. He has incredible games, very spectacular depth. And it's interesting that for many years he was extremely tactical, and you could see him, but later on he became a much more rounded player when he played his match against Kramnik,
Yes,
which
of
was,
course.
2001 or something,
Yes.
somewhere, early 2000. He won a match against Kramnik. So he was in incredible shape in those times. He was there in the top 5, top 10 for many years.
But even this game, would you call it a tactical game? It's not really tactical. Okay, there are some tactical threats on the way, but actually it's an attack, but okay, things are developing slowly.
Well, it's an attacking game.
It's an attack.
It's an attacking game.
But attack is a consistent thing.
Yes.
I mean, just placing your pieces well. We saw some combinations, but none of them happened in the game. So,
but now it becomes, of course, very tactical.
Well, maybe
very
he will soon deliver a combination, but we cannot call the game in general as tactical. It's it's a nice attacking effort. So
Yes. But it's interesting that, of course, all players want to get initiative. If you look at the top players' games, then with all the top players, you will find that people want to get initiative. And this is a great example of that basically already move 5, the pawn was given, and we have another game finished there.
it's interesting how the structure.
Georgia, Iraq, and I think in Port 1, Georgia scored. the first victory there. Well, already soon, from minute to minute, we are going to see more and more games finishing for round one, because we are having finished 3 hours of play by now.
I see that Aronians, the structural balance improved a lot, partly because... Oh, but he's an exchange.
We will go there.
No, Aronian is very interesting.
Yeah, we go there. Just
Silva Aronian. You remember the slow opening? But we want to see Queen E5.
Yeah, we just have this.
These too interesting. These too interesting. Yes.
So Queen A5 was played. I do believe that this game will not last long, to be honest.
Yeah, when it becomes concrete, of course, he can calculate and he will play quicker.
Yeah. So, okay, let's go to Aronian's game. You say something interesting is happening over there. We have move 37, where people already expecting to have a position, maybe already endgame without queens, but it's not at all the case, actually. White has material up.
Well, it's a pawn for the exchange, so let's say it's almost material quality.
Let's say which side would you take?
It depends on whether I can defend the pawn on c7 or not.
On c5.
On
yeah?
c5.
But what happened with
Well, let's go back to see.
What happened with Aronian? We were looking this in the opening. We saw that Black has a great game because he has very active pieces and the bishop attacking and the queen attacking, and the rook will be
I'm
coming.
not so sure about Queen d6. It's
yeah, Queen d7 we thought, but
yes.
Queen d6 doesn't seem to be.
No, because it runs into knight c4. But okay,
so now bishop d3 is not possible to rook d1.
And if c4, knight
this
c4,
is the problem,
yes.
knight c4. Okay, so this we understand. After queen f3, Levon started to play knight h5. Which is a sensible move, maybe even thinking about f5. But these pawns still, the double pawn is not necessarily
if you play f5,
nice.
yes, the double pawn is...
okay, rook d1.
f5 is better played with e6. e6 and f5.
I don't know, for now I think bishop b7 was played in order that after that f5 is possible, and then Black can be even pushing the pawn, possibly. Though I'm not a big fan of this bishop at all. I'm not.
Yeah, but in principle, Black doesn't have a bad position.
No,
I mean, I think it's
not at all. Not at all.
It's almost one-sided.
Bishop b3, king h8, still keeping the idea of playing f5. Queen g4, provoking Black. Queen c6. Well, I like kind of to have the two pieces, the battery on the diagonal.
But if it doesn't work, then no, I would just...
so actually this was a provocation, by the way. That after Queen c6, White did play Bishop d5.
No, but I would have considered e6.
e6, no?
e6 to play 5.
Yeah. I like e6 with idea f5, and also after that he can go Queen c6.
Yeah, of course.
But it's not so easy to win this game.
So you think?
I think it's not so easy. So I think he did it very much on purpose, Queen C6.
Maybe.
Because he thought that he's going to be provoking. Bishop D5, takes, F3.
I wouldn't be so unhappy with black in this position, actually.
You wouldn't be happy?
Unhappy.
Yeah, well, that's why he played Queen C6.
I think black has a great position, no?
Yeah, I think black is completely fine. He has complete compensation. I mean, this knight also on A3. And now this bishop on B7 is incredible powerful. Queen C4, Queen D6, Queen A4. Well, I would rather play this with black myself. But Queen B8, and then white started to go B4. I think generally black should be somehow fast, but still, it's a very tricky pawn structure.
He lost space somehow. The queen went there.
And then look at the F3 pawn is blocking the bishop on B7.
Yes, actually, this is very irritating. So maybe that bishop on B7 is not such, especially with the queen on B8, because there are no sacrifices on F3.
Yeah, that was not nice that he had to go back. If he had to go back. C takes B4, Queen B4, Rook E8, C4. No, something went wrong in the last few moves for black, I think.
Yeah, I think that E6 would have been safer somehow. I mean, okay,
maybe this exchange sacrifice, it was not so easy.
It should be reasonably good, but it's not that. It's less good than it may optically look. Optically, it looks
optically it looks pretty good. Yeah.
But concretely, if a player of Aronian strength, no, because
white is not worse at all.
White is playing now, no?
White should be slightly better here, I think.
I mean,
it's clear white is taking the
play is very easy for him, no?
Queen B1, King G8 coming back.
Yeah, of course.
Bishop C6, Queen B3, Knight C5. Well, white took. I'm not sure I would be taking though.
Yeah, because there is a weakness on B6, no?
Okay, Queen C2, Bishop D7, Rook B1.
Actually, this also, this makes sense too.
Queen C1. Of course, white is going to be alternate the attack over the A5 and C5 pawns. Queen B6, Rook B3, now regrouping to D8, which makes a lot of sense.
This queen has moved quite a lot, no?
Yeah, and it had reached to the same place. Basically from D6, it went to D6, C6, I think.
Some other place.
Then D5.
Then D6, C6 again, or C6.
Yeah,
D6.
I don't know. Somehow it has artwork.
Of course, there are some games of Karpov where he does this with some piece going around,
but now I think he was fortunate that he could replace his queen to D8.
Yeah. But otherwise, there are
Rook EB1, Rook B8,
and Queen E3.
Queen E3, and finally he pushed E4. He wanted to get rid of his pawn, you see? He couldn't stand it anymore, the block.
But it is already bad for black, no?
Well, white has an exchange up.
He
doesn't even have, extra pawn.
No, okay, there are technical problems.
Difficulties,
this, no?
Yes, that's true, that...
But still, the knight... maybe some king h1 to start with.
It's not so easy to improve for white.
Yes, because if knight c3, then maybe rook b4.
And this e4, I think, was very guys, and it's so typical, again, talking about initiative. The top players, you can see that they just like space for the pieces. This is a very good model position for that, you see.
Yes.
He just can't stand it anymore to have this frustration with the pawn on e4, on e5 to block it. So eventually he wants to reach out with his bishop to d4.
Yes, because if takes with the pawn, then bishop takes b5 and...
yeah, that would be a blunder, right?
Yes,
If takes, that's a full blunder, and actually black
Yes.
would be winning the game. Even this would be not winning because he could just go away.
Oh,
And it's a win.
yeah. Oh.
So it's incredible that it seems like it's not easy at all for black. So this is a typical position, typical game, where you have a top player playing with the black pieces, and still the white player, who has a few hundred rating points less, is actually black is suffering how to win the game, how to hold the game possibly. But of course it's I would rather play it with white probably,
No,
but still it's extremely difficult to win.
No, this is, I think we can say after e4, if e4, but why didn't he play queen c8
Instead of what?
instead of e4?
He just wanted to get rid of that.
No, I think there is, no, he has to defend on c5.
Well, knight a7 is
But
possible.
rook b3, rook b3.
Yes, exchange.
Okay, queen c7 is forced now.
Coming back.
So he didn't like the idea
The
of...
question is whether who does it favor. For example, you go away, I don't know where, queen e4.
And tonight...
But now it will be not so easy because the a5 is also under attack, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure. I think he just felt that the e5 pawn is something that it doesn't give him extra.
No, but the question is whether now the position will be not the same, but without the e5 pawn.
But I think he wants to be using the e5 square for the bishop. He wants to go active. He wants to go queen g5, let's say. He wants to somehow...
But now if, let's say, knight c3... then rook b4, we talked about that, yes, okay. I mentioned it. Even that may be not so simple, because takes and knight b5. So the structure is, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not obvious. Maybe I should just go rook b3, you know. Just go rook b3, and then play bishop d4 check.
Okay.
You go something king h1, queen g5.
Or maybe f1, not clear.
Doesn't matter. King h1, anyway, queen g5. So, because suddenly black really has all his pieces playing.
But knight e2, let's say.
Okay.
Okay, there is some temporary initiative, but okay, you know, pawn when you are in exchange down. And you didn't avoid the rook exchange anyway. That's my problem.
Okay, so what's the situation? He went e6.
Well, maybe knight c3, rook c8. And the knight is hanging on.
Yeah, maybe he can keep it. That's
and it's not obvious.
a good option.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the knight should be standing on b5.
b5 for the time.
Actually, white is not better, I think.
Sorry?
I mean, white is not better. I think, well, this is a very big difference that white has on f3.
Do you think that white is not better here? With equal points?
I'm not sure for practical how really white. From practical point of view,
it's not
sure.
easy, that's sure.
And it's also extremely dangerous for white, because if black has the time to go queen g5 and bring the bishop as well, white can also get in trouble.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's a very intense position.
I don't think that Aronian is that optimistic.
No, of course not. But okay, for them it's not that important. What do you think about checking? Because I see the games are running on the US boards, and I saw Wesley So.
Okay.
Wesley So is playing on board too. So let's see now how the team is going. The team is, I think US is leading 1 point. If I see correctly on the screen, then I think board 3 won.
Lenier Dominguez, yes.
So Dominguez won. They leading 1 point. So let's see in this position. White is Wesley So against Miguel Sergio.
Okay, he has an extra pawn and a better structure.
Extra pawn, better structure.
The bishop is a bit...
well, is not very active, yeah. Well, white will have to need some good technique, I guess. Knight d6 was the last move after rook a7.
He wants to go to c4 maybe somehow.
Yeah, maybe knight c4, of course.
Well, passed pawns can be very dangerous. I mean, if black will have the... But okay, the king is close. But just in case, I mean, sometimes such pawns like a5 and c4 can be quite dangerous.
Though it's not so easy for the technique.
Yeah, the bishop does not have moves.
Because once white plays f4, then the e4 square is going to be.
That's
right?
that's
E4
nice.
is not easy because, I mean, there is a control over the e4 square.
Yes. And there is also always also knight c3 check as intermediate move.
Yeah, and as we know, the knights are tricky.
The knight should not move away from e5 because this would allow knight c4.
Yeah, so what about attacking the knight on the e6, playing
Okay,
rook e6?
that is a reasonable
to push away. So is black going to play knight c4?
Yeah, that's the question. Does he has enough dynamism?
But maybe already after that, still f4 is not so good because of knight c3.
Knight c3, I still have, yes, this...
yeah. So
not so clear. Okay, takes.
And e4.
No, the bishop has got a diagonal. Yeah, maybe it is just as winning as it looks, no?
Now we see Wesley and Aronian next to him. Still, I have to use to that.
King d1, apparently.
What happened?
This is the first game of Aronian as an American, no? At least a team game.
In team.
Yes.
Yeah. So Fabiano is left out today. He is not.
But his, yeah, many teams did that.
Yes, yes. Well, and the American team anyway is so strong, and they know it when really they are into the game and they're fighting for the first.
Yes.
With strong, very strong top teams like India or even Poland or
even some
top seeds.
some grandmaster team.
Yeah, I mean strong 2650, 20, nearly 2700 team. I mean they know that it's going to be extremely tough. So, and anyway, Fabiano just played not long time ago the candidates tournament.
Yes. He's the only one.
I don't know how much he recovered from that.
Yeah, especially that things started well,
He was
but
very disappointed.
Yeah.
A disappointing event for him because after the first half of the event, he was there. He was just behind number 2, behind Nepomniachtchi, and well, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, the whole world was talking about it, whether the number 2 seed will give anything special or only the prize money. And it was so interesting as I was the candidate, the commentator on Chess 24. It was interesting when I saw people talking about it. And I was talking with some of the top players, seeing interviews by them. And it was interesting that people simply did not believe it, that Magnus can be serious about that.
I also consider this as a PR move.
Yeah, but actually,
what he had said.
It is very interesting because I think the top players, they know Magnus very well chess-wise. But when you look somebody chess-wise, how he is playing, you also know his character. And actually, Magnus is not hiding. He tells...
Fortunately said that the character of a player usually should reflect, because otherwise you cannot reach your maximum in chess. If you play the chess, you are not... so this is why he started to study chess again at the age of 30. I talk about Korchnoi. So yes, you are right that probably Carlsen, his play and his character are... yes, but okay, he could have made things clearer before the tournament.
Well, there was a lot of debate on that how fair he was towards his colleagues, and generally...
he doesn't owe anything to anybody in principle.
Yeah, and this is the way he behaves, and this is how what he said.
He was not sure. Maybe he was not sure.
I
not
think,
an easy decision to take.
But well, first of all, it's a very difficult decision, and actually he said it already previously. Probably also that's the reason that people were not believing it that much. But he said it, which was quite strange, that if it's Firuza, that's the only way he's going to be playing. But maybe if it would be Nakamura or some of the other players who he did not play a match yet, he would be playing.
Yeah, but maybe this also put pressure on Firuzia.
Yeah, but okay, I mean what can you say, right?
Yeah, he didn't say that Firuzia is a patzer. No, he said that he would play a match against him. So it was a positive comment.
I mean,
we have to deal with such emotions.
Yes. Yes. I mean, you have two problems when they underestimate you and they don't believe that you're... I mean, this is what I had to live as a teenager, and when I was 15, 16, people were telling me, okay, she's just lucky, okay, she had another lucky tournament, okay, the opponent was sick or whatever. So there are excuses, or is it better to say, wow, she is great? So So what puts more pressure on you?
Well, I will tell you some incident. I was playing the Eurasian Blitz Cup, and of course it was a very strong tournament. First prize was huge. Joe Papa maybe won. Okay, doesn't matter. But I was chasing the senior prize over 50, and one of my rivals was Vahidov and the father. And then we used to play two games, white and black. And I play with his son, which is not a bad player. And before the game, he started saying, "Oh, I love you, King, your book so much. You are such a good." And I felt that something is wrong inside me, and I lost. No, he's not a bad player, but okay, 2400. And before the second game, I said, "Okay, now I will avoid this." But again, he said, "How beautiful my," and I lost again.
So now everybody knows if someone plays against Mikhail, you just say that how great your book is, and then you win the game.
But next round I played with the father himself, and I beat him maybe 2-0, maybe 1.5. So somehow I was there in the prize race. No, but I know that it was my problem. The young opponent, I mean, he was just polite and saying good things.
Yeah.
But it was me who, I understand. You have to manage the positive emotions. I mean, my wife up to today sometimes says, "Oh, your books were."
Well, yeah, so it was very interesting to follow it very closely, the candidates tournament, and I'm pretty sure that many of our viewers and who are watching us now was following very actively the candidates tournament. And at first I also thought that, I mean, why does Magnus say something like this? Is he serious about it? And the more I was thinking about it, the more the way I saw how the candidates were unfolding, and it was clear much before the end that Nepomniachtchi will be the challenger again. And I was talking with people who are near and close to Magnus, and it was more and more clear to me that he is very serious about that. And it shocked the world, but don't forget that we did not have something like this 50 years already, because it was Fischer who did not play, but it's much worse.
But he retired completely.
This is
But I can understand the pressure on Carlsen, because for how many years he has been #1 in rating?
More than 10, I think.
10, 12 years. He has won 90% of the tournament he has played. No, sometimes he loses the game and he doesn't do in the tournament. So he has proven that he's the strongest, at least according to the results, he's the strongest player on the planet. And then every 2 years, his title depends on these short matches of 12 games. And probably this is what he cannot stand anymore. So he wants to detach himself from the world title, world champion title, and the position of the strongest player in the world. No, he's simply the strongest player in the world, and he will stay like this as long as he will keep the level, no? And he will not have to bother about the title anymore.
Yes, I mean, this is what he says, and we can all be happy for that he's absolutely not thinking of a retirement. He just wants to enjoy life and chess on his own way. He's still enjoys a lot playing competitive chess, and he's going to be playing right after this. And so there are...
He may come back to the cycle at some point. If
You never know with him.
feels it challenging.
He's a world champion who plays poker. He's doing this and that, and after all, he does really not owe to people that he has to be defending, and the only way is to give away his title to lose a match.
No, of course, I cannot agree to the fact that, okay, Fischer was owing anything to... I mean, okay, he did his job, he played his fantasy games, and then he retired. Okay, the same Carlsen. I mean, he doesn't owe anything to anybody. Okay, except the fact, the eventuality that there is a contract. But to the fans, of course, he does... he plays his games. I mean, he has to think of himself first of all. No, it's not so on. How is Shankland doing? Well, he has a nice end game. Well, you know, Shankland has such a beautiful ending.
Yeah.
You'd be glad to have it against a player of your rating.
Yes.
We say, okay, I either win or not.
Yes.
But if you play it against a lower rated player, what if he's not winning?
And it's not only that you have a very beautiful positionally developed position, right? I mean, look at this C file. Okay, to start with, you know this.
My feeling is that it should be winning, but not in a simple way.
So, what is the real point for white? C5 square is something exceptionally important. The knight can jump there anytime.
But there is no knight.
Shankland.
On my position is by far more advanced. There are no knights on board. I have only 4 rooks and the bishops. The king is on d3 already. But I don't know how did Aronian finish?
So I think just now we are going to go for just a very short break. Just a minute, we are going to come back, so to make sure that we can provide you the next game and analysis. Let's see. Aronian also finished the game.
Was it a draw by repetition or what?
Let's see what happened between Aronian.
Here for the draw or what?
I will need a refresh on my computer to be able to show and pick the next game. So what happened?
Here for the draw and the guy accepted.
Sorry?
Aronian offered the draw and the guy accepted.
Well, yeah, it was the kind of position, right?
No, but
what we had.
But the position was without queens already. I mean, white could exchange the queens. Queen takes d8. Bishop f8 and offer the draw. With a queen on d6. You don't have...
well, for now we see that they are kind of not complaining. They are leading 2.5 or...
Yeah.
How is it going right now?
Shankland has this endgame.
Okay, so they won the match already. That's
which is good enough.
2.5.
Yes,
Yes. And obviously they want to have 3.5 because you want to score the maximum you can for several reasons to collect
and there is rating, there is individual rating too.
Yeah, well, the rating, of course, is something that you don't necessarily care that much in the Olympiad, right? I mean, the priority is definitely your team, how to play your team, and then, of course, only very much secondary is your individual result. Of course, it's sometimes there is a debate, and sometimes there are discussions whether should you be playing in the last round, ruin your medal, for example. It happened with me also that I was playing, and so we do have the game, so we can shortly see. Yeah, the last game is running with US.
It's a fantastic end game for white, but as said, if you're not sure that it's winning, it's a bit unpleasant, no?
Well,
this was some sort of Zugzwang, no? Bishop A8 was played out of Zugzwang.
Well, it is a very instructive endgame, I must say.
But maybe king... No, of course he doesn't want to allow king d4, but white can play f4 and king d4 anyway. So I was thinking that what about if king e6, not to allow rook c8? Somehow bishop a8...
Well, but that's also kind of logical that black does not want to allow king d4 for nothing. Okay, king d4, obviously.
Yeah, at least f4 is also some sort
I mean, maybe white will play f4 anyway, but...
and it's still a Zugzwang now.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just white improved on his position. I mean, I guess I'm not sure Strickland wants to win this game so fast. It's just heaven, right?
The same thing I said. No, it's such a pleasant position, no?
Yeah, I mean, you want to enjoy, right? I mean, you can play bishop b3 to put to b3 and then even...
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there are, so this is why, I mean, just for sure,
Yes.
I think it's good
Yes,
for black to provoke the move f4, right? Because at least there are limitations for white, less options. So f4 he can do anytime, but maybe he has something different also.
No, I was thinking of rook c8 now, no?
But the question is, why are you so happy with rook